Welcome to Booked, Busy, and Building, the podcast for dreamers, doers, and everyday people making it happen. Whether you're building a business, a mindset, or a better version of yourself, this is your space to stay grounded, get inspired, and keep growing no matter how full your calendar gets. So if you're chasing your dreams and figuring it out as you go, this is your space to stay motivated and keep building. So tune in every week for new episodes. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Booked, Busy, and Building. Today, we are going to be diving into a topic that I have been very into and kind of obsessed with lately, and that is all about becoming smarter, learning about new things, and improving my everyday life by romanticizing the little things. If I'm being honest, I was never good at school or test taking or studying. I was never the smartest person ever, and that was always one of my biggest insecurities growing up, is that everybody else around me I feel like was so smart and they knew a lot of different things, and I was kind of just I just knew enough to get me enough to pass me with the tests and the grades and whatever it is that I was doing. But when I graduated college and I realized I can actually start learning now about the things that actually interest me and not just following a school curriculum, that is when I feel like the entire world really opened up for me. And it's almost overwhelming in a way because there's so many things that I want to learn about. There's so many books that I want to read. And sometimes I'm like, am I going to have enough time to do everything? Because now it's just so exciting. There's so many things that I want to learn about and be educated in. I feel like a lot of people think that when you finish school, you're done with learning. But I feel like that's when it really starts to become a lot more fun, because you can learn about anything and everything. You can literally buy books on space and animals and plants and the ocean or history and art instead of literally scrolling for hours and just seeing what other people are doing. You can literally upgrade your mind in little ways, and becoming more intellectual or having a sharper mind isn't about knowing everything or being a genius, but it's about slowly becoming smarter every day in your own way, because you're building habits that are helping your brain and you're exercising it. So in this episode, I want to dive into 5 tips on how to feed your brain, how to romanticize the little things in life, and how to build a routine or habits that can help make you smarter. Number 1 is curate what you're consuming and what you're doing. So instead of always scrolling, instead of always looking at what other people are doing, I think something to remember is create more than you consume. And this is something that I always tell myself when I find myself scrolling or when I find myself not wanting to be productive or just proactive in any way. I'm always I need to be creating more than I'm consuming. And there is nothing wrong with obviously relaxing and just being on your phone or not doing anything that's super productive all the time, because we deserve to also relax, but also there has to be a difference. There has to be kind of a balance between both. So instead of always scrolling, try to replace that time with reading or replacing it with listening to a podcast or documentaries. Yesterday, I just got back from Mexico. I was there over the last few days, and I flew back in Saturday morning, and while I was on the plane, there was no TV on the seat in front of us, so we weren't able to see how far it was until we were gonna land. And I was like, you know what, since there's no screen and there's no movie, I didn't bring my iPad or anything, instead of watching something on my phone, I was like, let me download some sort of new audiobook or something, and I can just start listening to that, because I personally love to read. I love audiobooks. That's always what I listen to, or podcast episodes. So I took that initiative and I was like, let me start listening to a book. And I started listening to the 5 a.m. Club, because next week I really want to challenge myself and start waking up at 5 a.m. because I have so many projects and so many things it is that I'm doing and that I'm working on the back end, that I'm like, now is the time I really need to start taking initiative with my morning routine. So I started listening to that book, and I'm already over 30% through, and I literally started it yesterday. So I can probably finish it within the next day or so, but I am really loving it so far. And it's me taking that initiative and replacing that time on the plane with, instead of just scrolling on my phone or trying to find something else to do, I was like, let me take advantage of this. And something else when it comes to curating what you consume is be careful what it is that you're watching or what it is that you're listening to, and instead think of your mind as if it's literally a diet. Only give it things that are going to nourish it, only give it things that are going to expand whatever it is that you already know. I love business and entrepreneurship and learning about productivity and all those kinds of things. So I love to expand on that and listen about listen to stories on other entrepreneurs or other people and hear their stories, hear how they were able to overcome certain things. And I'm literally always feeding myself new things and new information because I'm like, I want to learn. Like, I literally want to just be a sponge. And especially because I'm in my early 20s, like, I just want to learn and learn and learn. And that is all that I want to do. And you can do that in such easy ways by literally, like I said, thinking of your mind as if it's a diet. And also being careful, like, who you surround yourself with and who you spend time with. If you don't have anyone in your immediate circle or just in your life in general that you can go to for inspo or to help keep you up on whatever it is that you want to do, you can also find people online. Like, growing up, I never had entrepreneurs or people in my life that I could go to that I feel like wouldn't laugh at me when it came to certain things, like, except my sister, obviously. But I was always embarrassed for the way that I felt and the way that I was thinking, because I always felt like I was really just not above people that were around me. But when I was younger, like, I always knew what it is that I wanted out of my life and what I wanted for my future. And so I always felt like if I were to tell people that, like my friends, they would laugh at me, or they would be like, girl, like, get your head out of that cloud and come back down to earth. And so I started watching YouTubers or listening to things online and using that to kind of be my motivation. And I started surrounding myself with that kind of energy. And that has really made such a difference into who I am today. But like I said, I didn't have anyone around me that I can go to talk about goals and dreams and all that kind of stuff except my sister. And obviously she has her own life. So surround yourself with that kind of energy or that kind of content that is going to inspire you and even push you to grow, because that is one of the best things you can do, especially when you're this young or however old you are. Like, if you know what it is that you want to do and where you want to be in life, curate what you do and what you consume to be about that. Number 2 is build a learning routine. So if there is something that you want to learn about, or there's certain topics it is that you want to just be more educated in, try to dedicate a certain time throughout your day or even throughout your week that is just your study time or your studying hour that you can just use to deep dive on things it is that you want to learn about, whether it's a new subject, like something in technology or in art or science or nature, like whatever it is. Try to find time throughout your week to start developing this learning routine. And my sister and I just talked about this yesterday because we went on a walk and we were talking just about new things that we want to do and entering this new season of life. Like, September is already next week, which is crazy. So we're just talking about new goals and things it is that we want to focus on for this last quarter of the year, because I feel like this is when things really start to pick up, and there is so much beauty in the last quarter of the year because you spend the first 2-3 quarters of the year learning, trying new things, meeting people, experimenting. Like, you're building the foundation for the final portion of the year. And so we're just really excited for everything that's going to come. And one of the things my sister mentioned that actually goes with this is that every Sunday, she said, for 2 hours from like 9 to 11, she wants to just focus on studying new things, going through textbooks it is that she's bought, and just really focusing on learning. Like, right now, she really wants to focus on human body and anatomy and bones and all of those kinds of things. And she really wants to dedicate 2 hours on Sundays to doing that. And to me, I just love that because I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to start doing the same thing. Like, I want to dedicate time throughout my week on just focusing on whatever topic it is that I want to learn about. Like, I obviously mentioned I love entrepreneurship and business and all those kinds of things, and I already listen to that so much every single day. But I think buying a book or focusing like 2 to 3 hours a week on just learning about that craft, I think can be really, really beneficial. Listen to podcasts, listen to documentaries, even take free online courses and make that your new entertainment. Because like I said before, you can have fun, you can enjoy, you can have downtime, but I think rewiring how you use your downtime and making it also beneficial for you, I think can be really great. And like I said, I love my rotting time. I love to rot in bed and rot on the couch. Like yesterday, after I got off the plane, I took a mini nap and then I went on a walk, and I was like, I just want to get back into my routine right away. It was nice to just not do anything for an hour, but then I went right back in and I was like, I need to have my balance, obviously. So try to create this like new form of entertainment and make it a habit with your everyday. Like, as soon as I wake up, I put on a podcast or I try to find a YouTube video that is going to be really inspiring. I have a bunch of books laid out on my bookshelf that I want to read, and a lot of them have to do with business and entrepreneurship, but others just have to do with random topics like romance and other things that I just want to literally read about. Like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't always have to be something educational, but trying to replace old bad habits with something new and making this your new entertainment can be really great. And also track what you are learning in a journal or a notebook. Like, I have so many notebooks and I have so many journals that I've gotten over the years that are literally just empty, and I want to use them. Like, I want to fill them with something, and I personally love to journal. I have my journal / like my diary that I keep track of things that are happening in my everyday life and how I'm feeling and all of those kinds of things, so I can look back on it in a few years. But track what you're learning with the journal. Like, go to TJ Maxx, go on Amazon, go to Target, and order a journal or a notebook that is just going to be for these new learnings and these new things that you are teaching yourself, or things that you find really interesting in your everyday life. And do this with intention. Read with intention. Learn with intention. Like, swap 20 to 30 minutes of scrolling with reading books or articles or essays. Like, I have recently become obsessed with Substack. Like, it is genuinely becoming one of my new favorite social media apps. I don't even look at it as social media because it's just such a good app. Like, I think of it as Twitter for writers and creatives and intellectuals, because instead of scrolling on any other platform just for fun, I love to go on there and see, like, what are people writing about? What can I read about? And it's really fun because, like I said, it doesn't feel like a social media app. It literally feels like Pinterest, but instead of looking at pictures, you're reading words and you're looking at what other people are writing. And I just love it. So I also got this new app on my phone called Vocabulary, which every day it sends me notifications of new vocabulary words, and you can save it or favorite it, and it just sends you like new words throughout the day that you can learn, that you could add into your vocabulary. Because that's something else that I really wanted to learn about, is expanding on words that I already use every day and just learning new ones. Like, instead of saying I am very hardworking, you can say she is very assiduous, which literally just means hardworking, but it's just a different way to say that. And I think now that I have that in my vocabulary, now that I'm learning new words, I just love that I can just pull that out whenever. And like, knowing new words, knowing new things like that, and just having it randomly pop up on my phone, I think is just so fun. And like I said, it's a fun way to expand on what you already know. Like, I already know certain words, now I can learn new things while I'm on my phone. Number 3 is create intellectual hobbies. So this has to do a little bit with what I mentioned in the previous tip, but instead of that endless scrolling, or instead of doing other things that don't really benefit you, or like trying to replace bad habits with good ones, try doing puzzles or Sudoku or strategy games, or try doing things that are going to pick your brain. Like, I recently got the New York Times game app because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it like over the years, but I never really thought that it was anything fun. And now my boyfriend and I are obsessed with doing the Wordle every day, which is just a whole thing in itself. Like, I'm not even going to try to explain that game, but it just has to do with, it's like a brain game essentially. And it's really fun because we are just like thinking of different words to try to put in there. We're like challenging ourselves. We're like, what is the word? There's also a spelling bee game on there. There's Sudoku. Like, there's so many different little things. And it's really fun, honestly. Like, I still love YouTube. I still love TikTok and scrolling. But I think it's really fun to just have like something else on your phone that is a little bit of like a mind game. And also learning a new language or learning a new skill. Like, I have Duolingo. I've been learning Arabic over the last almost a year now. I think my day streak is like 336. So I'm definitely still going really hard. I haven't hit 1 year yet, but I'm doing really good. And by learning a new language or just challenging that part of my brain, I think it's really fun. And I also want to get a notebook to really learn more about Arabic, and I want to start listening to podcasts and YouTube videos and books in that language, or even while I'm in the car. Like, I just really want to switch out old things that I'm doing with new ways to learn. And even though I know apps like that sometimes don't really help that much, it's about taking that habit and then going a little bit stronger. Like, I can do my Duolingo every day, but getting a notebook and also changing the things that I'm listening to into a different language can be really great, especially if you want to learn Spanish or Italian or whatever it is. Like, swapping out the things that you already do and replacing it with something that you want to learn can be really helpful. Like I said, I already listen to podcasts and YouTube videos. Why not put it in a different language? And just, even if I don't really understand what is going on, still switching that out, I think, is really good to try to build on that side of your brain. And also back to reading, like, join a book club or even start a book club. Like, my sister and I last year, one of our goals for 2025 was to make a book club together and find time once a month to go out and get breakfast and discuss that book. And we have been doing that every month since January. So September is going to be our next book club. And it's just crazy how we have been so hardcore and like consistent on that, and it's so fun because every month we pick a book, we read it, and then at the end of the month we discuss it, and it is so fun. Like, we genuinely look forward to that so much every single month. But when you prioritize these little like brain healthy habits, you are really just giving your brain that exercise that it needs, because sometimes we don't even realize it, but sometimes we need to push our brains a little bit more. And especially in an age where everything is available at our fingertips, sometimes it's too easy, I feel like, for us to do certain things, and we really need to bring back challenging ourselves a little bit. And that's why over the last few weeks, like, I've really been obsessed with that and like wanting to re-challenge myself and learn a little bit more, because I never want to feel like the smartest person in the room, and you never want to feel like that either. But when you prioritize like sharpening your brain, sharpening concentration, and not having so much dependency on just our phones and technology, you can really challenge yourself in a way that I think is really cool. But besides just moving your brain, you should also be moving your body. Like, go on walks, do workouts, do things that are really going to improve your focus and your creativity. Like, going on walks is so helpful for me because I just get so creative and I think of so many ideas that I didn't think of before. And it's just a nice way to decompress and just listen to a podcast or a YouTube video or a book and just look at what is around you and not on your phone. Number 4 is move your body and move your mind. So I know I just talked about this a little bit in the last tip, but I want to dive into it a lot more, which is having regular workouts, even doing simple workouts to just improve your memory, your energy, and your mood. And that is one of the reasons why I also wanted to start reading the 5 a.m. club, because I really want to bring back like early mornings into my routine and taking advantage of those early mornings and having that time for myself. Because even though I do work for myself and I do social media full time, I also do a lot of contractor things on the side, which require meetings and doing deadlines for certain brands, projects, all of those kinds of things. And when I have those meetings scattered throughout the day, I just like knowing that at least in the morning I had my few hours dedicated to me. Even if that requires waking up a little bit earlier and sleeping earlier, I am still super happy with that. I'm very excited for tomorrow because it's going to be the start of that. I'm going to go on my morning walk, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to have breakfast, make my coffee, read a little bit, and just really have that time back for myself. When you do simple things, like I said, going on a walk and just listening to a podcast or a YouTube video, it is really great just for your energy and boosting your mood, because you may not even realize it, but when you wake up and you go right into doing your work, or you go right into just whatever task it is that you have to do, and you don't give yourself that time for yourself, the day is just going to go on and you're going to be so tired. You're not going to have that creative boost. You're not going to have that energy boost. Like, I am telling you, there is so much benefit in waking up early. I could literally make a whole podcast episode or a whole YouTube video just about morning routines and why it is so essential. And I'm also going to end up doing a YouTube video on the 5 a.m. club book that I'm reading and all the things that I'm learning, in case you guys also want to become a 5 a.m. girl. But set these little times throughout the week to move yourself, move your body, move your mind, and also set screen time limits. I know the iPhone has like a feature where you can lock apps and not go on it for a certain amount of time. Like, you can lock it from a certain time period. Let's just say you set a lock for like 2 or 3 hours, and then by the time like 3 p.m. hits, you've already hit the 3 hours without even realizing it. Like, you just spent 3 hours on that app or on your phone, like I said, without even realizing. So try to set limits on what it is that you're doing to avoid just that endless scroll, that doom scrolling, and that mindless consumption. And like I've also been mentioning, pair your workouts or pair everyday things with educational content, with podcasts, with audiobooks. Like, this can really double your growth. There's even people that like don't listen to music at all in their car and they just listen to books or educational content in general. Like, there is so many hours that we spend just driving or just in our car that can be used instead to learn something else. And when you really take advantage of that and you switch out the little things that you already do every day with something that can build your brain, you're going to see such massive improvements. Like, it's really crazy. And especially with physical movement, like, you can really clear mental fogs. You can clear any kind of creativity blocks it is that you have and really get new space and new room for new new ideas that you probably didn't even know before. Like sometimes I wake up in a slump and I don't really have any energy or any creative motivation for the day, and as soon as I go on a walk or I get out the house or even going on a drive and just like listening to something inspiring, I automatically feel myself getting back to myself, coming up with the new ideas and coming up with new things. But it's really about moving your mind and moving your body both at the same time, doing things for both and really feeding both of those things. Number 5, the last and final tip. This is probably my favorite tip of this entire episode, which is rediscovering everyday joys. So this is something I started doing earlier this year, and that is not waiting for fun moments or keep waiting for the weekend to live. Like when you wait for certain moments in life to finally be happy or to go out and do things, you are never going to find true joy in every day. And when I say finding joy in small everyday things, it can literally be as simple as putting on a cute outfit or having fun making your coffee in the morning, listening to classical or jazz music, going on a walk. Like there are so many ways that you can rediscover finding love and fun in what it is that you do in your everyday routine. Like I go on my morning walks, I read books, I make my coffee. How can I make this more fun? When I go to sleep, I like to put on a matching pajama set that makes me feel a little bit more put together. In the morning, I like to set out my workout clothes aside, put on a matching set, have my sneakers out, making my coffee in a cute cup, dressing up even when I'm home and I'm going to be in meetings all day, and just making where I live or where I work feel a lot more cozy. Like these are already things that I do in my everyday life, but I am making it a lot more fun by adding my own little touch to it. Like I'm really romanticizing these little things that are already part of what I do every day and just adding my own touch. Like you can even start a list on your phone, like right after this episode, of small things that bring you joy or that are small things you can start upgrading. Like you don't need to do these really crazy expensive things in order to make your routines or your life feel great. Like you don't need a whole new wardrobe and new expensive clothes or new shoes, or you don't need to go out and buy new things in general. It's just like, how can you upgrade what it is that you were already doing? If you're using the same coffee cup every morning, maybe switch it out to another cup that's in the back of your cupboard. If you don't really wear makeup every day, but you kind of want to start maybe upgrading a little bit more, start putting on maybe some mascara or some blush in the morning. If you are going on morning walks, maybe switch out your sneakers, try putting on a different workout set. Like switch out the things that you do every day, and I promise you it's really going to make every day seem a lot more fun. And also spend time in nature, go outside, cook new recipes, start journaling, have new hobbies that don't require being online. Not everything you do, not every hustle that you do has to require making money or bringing something back to you. Like it can just be as simple, like I said, as listening to a podcast or a audiobook while you're going on a walk. Not everything always needs to be so really big and grand. Like there are simple, small ways that you can bring joy back to your everyday life, because life is really just about appreciating the everyday, being grateful, and not waiting for these really big milestones. Because I promise you, like when you finally get the goal or the dream or the thing it is that you've been wanting, like when you finally get that and you realize, wait, this isn't as big as how I thought it was going to be, or this seemed a lot bigger in my head, you are going to realize that that is with everything else in life. Like when you finally get to that big moment you've been waiting for, it might not be as big and as grand as you thought. So that's why find joy in every day. That's why people say you need to care more about the journey than the destination, because the person you become in the end from all the things it is that you were experiencing every day, that is 100 times more valuable than the thing you're going to get in the end. Whether it is monetary, whether it is materialistic, whether it is the big house or the big bank account or the big friend group, like whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's about who you become in the end and how you have grown as a person. Thanks for tuning in to Booked, Busy, and Building, where we keep it real, stay growing, and are always showing up for ourselves. Remember that you're not behind, you're in the middle of becoming, so keep building what matters, and the life you want is already yours. And until next time, stay booked, stay busy, and keep building.